If you guys are trying to take your training to the next level and you want to increase your speed, your power, your conditioning, then you got to check out Phil Daru's 8-week heavy hitter boxing program. I'm telling you guys right now, it's no joke.
Hi, it's Haney. You're watching Dante Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? Man, the level of disrespect to the coincidental list is at an all-time high. And I'm talking about when it comes to boxing and even outside of boxing. Because the racial double standards that exist in boxing is just a microcosm of what happens throughout the country. So ESPN and the WBC, they completely disrespected Devin Haney throughout the broadcast and even before the broadcast leading up to the fight. They disrespected Devin Haney by, number one, never even mentioning his name throughout the broadcast, never even informing the public that the WBC champion, the real WBC champion, is Devin Haney, because he was Lomachenko's mandatory. Lomachenko gave up his belt. Therefore, Devin Haney became the real WBC champion. And truth be told, Lomachenko became a former WBC champion. He had the franchise belt, but I'm about to go and play this clip and completely clear that whole mess up. So instead of Joe Tessitore informing the public, he decided to mislead the public by trying to tell people that this fight was for all 4 belts. As they said in the build-up, winner takes all, right? So let me go ahead and play this clip.
Roberto Duran, Julio Cesar Chavez, Pernell Whitaker. Now we go one step further. For the first time, it's 4 belts. It's undisputed lightweight supremacy.
Okay, so you heard what Joe Tessitore said right there. He said this is for all 4 belts. Lightweight supremacy. When he says it's for all 4 belts, he's including the WBC franchise belt that Lomachenko requested for after he vacated his WBC belt and Devin Haney became the real WBC champion. So once again, this franchise belt is one of the 4 belts that Joe Tessitore is including. Now, let me play this clip of what the WBC president himself said about the franchise status. Check this out.
How did you choose Lomachenko? Because
I did not choose him. He requested, Canelo requested. So we sent out a vote and we analyzed his history.
Ooh, Canelo and Lomachenko requested?
Absolutely.
Ooh, you just made headlines.
Lomachenko,
You just made headlines.
Lomachenko, top rank, requested. And let me tell you, we analyzed the request. 2-time Olympic champions. 2-time Olympic, 2 cycles Olympic champion. Champion in 3 different weight categories. And nobody can doubt he's in the top of the top of the top.
Define the franchise belts. Can you define it?
The franchise is not a belt, it's not a championship, it's a designation given to elite, unique fighters who carry the industry of the sport of boxing.
So you have the WBC president not only making it clear that it was Lomachenko that requested for this WBC franchise status after he vacated his belt to avoid his mandatory Devin Haney. But Mauricio Solomon, he also confirmed that the WBC franchise is not a belt, it is not a championship. So why does ESPN's Joe Tessitore continue to say throughout the broadcast, this is for all 4 belts, winner takes all? Now, I understand why Top Rank would say something biased because, of course, this is a Top Rank card. This is a Top Rank fight. So, of course, they're going to be biased. But even though Joe Tessitore works for ESPN, it's still his job to inform the public that Devin Haney is actually the WBC champion. Why? Because as the WBC president just said that franchise status is not a belt and it's not a championship. Now let's hear what Devin Haney had to say himself when he found out or heard ESPN calling Teofimo Lopez the WBC champion and further disrespecting him by not even mentioning his name during the broadcast, knowing that he had a WBC belt.
This is Skip with the WBC lightweight champion, Devin the Dream Haney, on behalf of Dante's Boxing Nation and also Aki TV. All right, now, what was your take on ESPN having like false advertisement of Tio versus Loma as undisputed? I mean, all night long.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't understand that. That shit was crazy. I couldn't believe that they was able to even do that, false advertise like that. But you know, it's a money thing. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. It's about, you know, making money and, you know, building fights up and doing it that way. So at the end of the day, it is what it is.
So what was your reaction to Lopez calling you quote unquote an email champion, knowing that Lomachenko surrendered his WBC to avoid you?
I mean, Teofimo, you know, he's gonna say what he's gonna say, but you know, I'm happy that he said that, you know, he's willing to fight me, and you know, and that the fight could be made, you know, because he was saying what the commentators wasn't. The commentators, you know, never said one thing that, oh, we want to see him in Devin Haney, we want to see him in the WBC champion. You know, he said that he's willing to fight me, and I'm happy with that. You know, he's showing that he's a true champion.
Yep. And the reason why they never said, they, meaning Joe Tessitore, never said that they want to see Devin Haney versus Teofimo Lopez, because they don't want to see that fight, because it's too much of a risk of the fighter with the wrong complexion winning the fight. Why do you think HBO never wanted Golovkin to fight Andre Ward, but they asked him to move up to a higher weight class and fight Sergey Kovalev instead? Why do you think whenever Canelo or Gennady Golovkin is interviewed after a fight on DAZN, they're never asked about fighting Charlo or Demetrius Andrade? Matter of fact, after Golovkin beat Sergey Derevyanchenko and he was doing his post-fight interview in the ring, Demetrius Andrade tried to get in the ring and they blocked him. They kept him away from Gennady Golovkin. And as Chris Mannix, the guy that was interviewing Golovkin, is watching all of this play out, he never even asked Gennady Golovkin, never even mentioned Demetrius Andrade's name, knowing that he just tried to get in the ring, knowing that both Demetrius Andrade and Gennady Golovkin fight on DAZN. He asked Golovkin about Canelo, but he doesn't say anything about Demetrius Andrade, the other champion in his division. Speaking of that, somebody sent me a link of Chris Mannix, the DAZN podcast that he does with Sergio Mora, and he was going in saying, why doesn't Charlo fight Andrade and vice versa? I mean, he was going in on it hard, like really trying to push for the fight. But he never mentioned, once again, Canelo versus Charlo, Canelo versus Andrade, Golovkin versus Charlo, Golovkin versus Andrade. He only wants to see the black murderers roll. The two black fighters that are the most avoided fight each other. Like, why don't you guys just fight each other and leave our fighters alone, okay? Because they're too emotionally invested into these fighters. But if it's two black guys fighting, they don't care because they're not rooting for either one of them, so it doesn't really matter. See, this is what you guys have to realize. Old media doesn't care if their fighters lose as long as it's not to a black fighter. They don't mind who they lose to, it just can't be against a black fighter. Because they done watched that same movie too many damn times. But thank God, at the end of the day, it's the fighters that make the decisions, not old media. It's the fighters that determine what type of legacy they leave behind. But if you really want the broken down answer of why old media doesn't want these fighters to get in the ring with fighters on the coincidental list, I'm gonna leave you guys with this clip I'm gonna play for you. This is an interview that boxing promoter Cameron Duncan did with Barbershop Conversations. Now, Cameron is very close to Bob Arum, and he'll explain it in this clip. Listen to what he had to say. By the way, just in case you guys don't know, Cameron Duncan is the guy standing right next to Bob Arum. Check it out.
Ask ask Cameron Duncan, do Top Rank have like columns of fighters? And they say, we don't want this guy fighting the black fighter. We don't want this fighter fighting the Mexican fighter, and so on and so forth.
You're going to get into the racial stuff, huh?
No, I'm not. I'm asking.
That's a theory there by the greatest matchmaker, probably, in my opinion, ever.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not going to mention his name either, but you know what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh.
And he used to have a thing up on his board, NBF, no black fighters.
Uh-huh.
And when I was taught to bring up a fighter, you know, and again, it's just, he used to say to me, you can go anywhere in the country. And I'm going to leave it at this. I don't want to go into a long discussion because people are people in God's eyes, and we're all the same. He used to say to me, you can go anywhere into a city in America or anywhere in the world and ask a white guy, and he didn't say any other, he didn't say anything about Hispanic, anything. Ask a white guy to throw a jab, and half of them are going to turn backwards and throw it like a girl and everything. Ask any black man on a street corner in any city in the world, and they will snap out a jab in a heartbeat. And I used to laugh. He said, they're just more physically gifted. And he said, and so they have speed, and better to stay away from them. Nothing personal. So I said, okay. And I've lived by that. And, you know, I don't want to sound like some weird guy, but, you know, you're trying to be safe with your guys. And so, yeah, there is a thing about that, you know, but not in a bad way, in a very respectful way, you know, to be careful. So that's all.
Fellas, I've got some great news for you. If you've lost your hair or have a receding hairline, the time has come when you can finally get your hairline back through a process called scalp micropigmentation. So here's how it works. It's a hair tattoo that replicates the look of your hair follicles when you have fully shaved it down. Basically, you will end up with a haircut shape up or an edge up. What they do is they tattoo small dots that look like hair follicles in the areas where you have lost your hair and then blend it with your existing hair. You can even choose what type of hairline you want, hard shape up or soft and natural finish. And to maintain it, all you gotta do is shave your hair every few days, which is something you already were probably doing anyway. So if you wanna get this hookup for my brothers out there in the UK and Europe, make sure you check out the Scalp This on Instagram. And for my brothers out there in the States, make sure you go ahead and contact my man Scalp Carolinas on Instagram. And when you go on their pages, you can see for yourself what these guys look like before. I mean, these guys are literally hair magicians. I've never seen anything like this before, but all I can tell you guys is this is a serious game changer for us men. So make sure you get in contact with Scalp This and Scalp Carolinas on Instagram. What's going on, guys? You know, I've always wanted to find a second source of income. And I've always wanted to learn about stocks and trades because I've heard so much good stuff about it. So I finally found a way to do it. And now I'm learning from 6, 7, 8-figure traders. So not only am I learning from them, but the most important thing is I get to copy their trade, so I get to earn while I learn. Now, if you want the full details, click on the link below so you can learn while you copy and paste their trades. And just understand this, guys, just by watching the video, you're doing a great job of supporting my channel, and I appreciate it. And the craziest thing about doing this trading is you can do it anywhere. All you need is an internet connection, and you can do it just with your phone. So if you want to learn how to make a second income alongside me without having to pitch, sell, or recruit, go ahead and click on the link below, and I'll see you inside.